Only you and me. I don't know what to do. I'm so confused and I need peace. Take me home. Take me home. Take me Sometimes life weighs me down. I try to press on, but every time I turn around, it seems like I'm up against the wall. My life's upside down. I need to rest away from all life's mess in your secret place. Say there's only you and me. I don't know what to do. I'm so confused and I need peace. Take me to your secret place. Take me to your secret place. Take me to.
Hey y'all, hello. I am so happy that y'all are watching. I see we got a few people on already, and so I'm gonna give everyone a second to share the live. And I hope y'all enjoyed my song Secret Place that was playing in the beginning. That was part of it. Y'all hear the rest of it at the end of the show, And so I am so excited to be here with you all. I told y'all I was going to give y'all give you a little bit of just me for once in a while for the show, and because this is how I started. And for my loyal faithfuls that have been a part for since I started, which wasn't that long ago. We just started going live. I just started going live publicly the last Thursday of May, I think it was. So it hasn't been long at all. Something new that I pushed myself to do during this pandemic. And so the topic today, we're going over scholarships, we're going over business, and I am answering questions and comments live. So first of all, for all the viewers I see watching, whether you're watching on YouTube or Facebook and one of my groups, you got a comment, say hello, let me know you're here, and type your comment, type your question, what's on your mind, what you're thinking. I love impromptu. And if you aren't following me or if you're new to my channel, hello. Thank you for joining. My name is Inez Jones. I am an educational scholarship consultant. I am a sales director with Mary Kay. I also sing the national anthem with the Chicago White Sox. So I'm a singer and I wear many hats. A couple other businesses I am a part of as well. So I believe in multiple streams of income. And so I do a lot. My background is in education. I used to be an administrator for Chicago Public School Systems, and I wrote the handbook on how to keep students on track to graduate from high school on time. Me, myself, personally, I got over $600,000 in scholarships. And then I helped a student to get $1 million in scholarships. And he was one of the first $1 million scholars. Hello. Oh, she calls me my nickname. Listen, only certain people can call me that, girl. You ain't supposed to put that on the public live. Thank you for joining. And so since then, we are at upwards of over $10 million in scholarships that I've helped students to get. And so it's something that I kind of developed a niche for, that I love, that I have a passion for. And honestly, when I got sick and left CPS, parents were tracking me down saying like, I will pay you to help my kid. You can't leave me too. And I was like, okay, well, I guess this is a little niche. I guess it's a business. And when I started mine back in 2012, it was like no one, especially not people of color who were doing this. And so I literally only found 2 other websites. Now there's a whole lot of people, and I'm going to bring some of them to you all in another show so we can share, because I do believe there's enough business to go around and we can all win together. And so I am ready for any questions that you all have, but just want to give you a little bit of my, I guess, stats, if you will. I was pre-law at the University of Chicago, and then I have the Master's of Education from DePaul University in Spanish and certified to teach K through 12. And so I help CPS to have the most Bill Gates scholars of any company or any city, actually. And I myself was one of the first Bill Gates scholars, scholarship recipients. And I'm a proud alumni of the Jackie Robinson Foundation scholarship organization. I'm an alum, and I was one of the past presidents of the Alumni Association. So like I said, many hats, many hats. And so I'm ready with all of the questions. And so let's go ahead and stream the first question. I see we got one that came in from YouTube. Somebody's watching on YouTube. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. And my tech team is going to put that up. Yes. How long have you been an entrepreneur? Ooh, great question. And thank you, Willie. Thank you for joining. And thank you for watching on YouTube. And hit the subscribe, hit that button and that bell for all notifications when I go live. Please and thank you. And share it. But that's a great question. So let me think. My very first business was a company called Warm Spirit. And I did that one in college. And actually, no, let me go back. Before then, in grammar school, I had a business with my lovely mother who helped me to get a business going. Hello, Ida. Thanks for joining. And I actually did, it was called Sparkling Time or something of that nature. Ooh, I wonder if my mom was watching. She got to help me out. But Sparkling Timekeepers is what I think it was called. And they were just watches that we would decorate with rhinestones from the beauty supply and make pretty. But we had this thing called Micro Society. And I thank goodness for that teacher who helped me with that. And he created that. It was like our business class. And this was literally like 5th, 6th grade, like 3rd, 4th, like grammar school. Okay. And everyone had to come up with their own business. And every Friday we got to shop. We earned money and bucks in our classrooms during the week, right? For, doing good, getting good grades. And I was a straight A student, so I always got a whole bunch of money to spend. And then we were able to shop, and everybody had their own business, and you had to come up with your own business plan and have the actual items that you sell. And so, it was great. And so that was my very first one, if we're going to be really true, but it wasn't real money. It was like Monopoly money, but it was like a Monopoly business in live. And so if you're an educator watching, take that on. Y'all can do that virtually, definitely. But I loved it. And so I guess it, sparked my little entrepreneur spirit at a young age. And then my next official business was Warm Spirit, which I joined in like 2007 when I was in college. And that was like I think it was a multi-level marketing. And unfortunately, they went under in 2008 when the recession hit. And so although I had started doing very well there, I was making some decent money, the recession hit. And I had turned down Mary Kay a few times after that, or before that, actually. But that was my very first one. So then after that, my next time being an entrepreneur, outside of singing, because kind of I feel like all musicians are your own entrepreneurs. That's a whole different subject and topic. But after working it, I'll come to that question in just a second, tech team. Let me finish answering this last one. And so after working a little while in the CPS system, and I did very well there. I wrote the handbook on how to keep students on track to graduate from high school on time. I am the co-author, and I was like the main one that kind of put it together. And we did action-based research. And so all the city high schools in Chicago now have to abide by the freshman and sophomore on track metrics that we came up with, and it's on their school report card. So it's kind of a big deal. So technically I'm a published author. And so my next business was actually, my next business was Mary Kay, I think. And so I started Mary Kay originally for the tax write-offs and the discounts because I was making decent money as in my 20s with no babies and as an administrator. And I didn't have any tax write-offs. So I was owing Uncle Sam, and I didn't like that. And so Mary Kay helped me with the tax discounts because it's a home-based business and it's a dual marketing system, not an MLM. And so I loved it. And I needed the discount because that's my banner in the back. I was Miss Black Hyde Park. I was running for a pageant, and life was pretty busy. I recorded Secret Place not too long. I had started working on my album, and I was, of course, singing, and I modeling and doing the pageants. I was doing a lot. But it seemed simple enough. And I knew that if nothing else, it would help me with the tax write-offs, the 50% discount, and it was flexible and I could make my own hours. And then once I saw the money you could make, I decided to really go in. And then when I got sick and I had to take a medical leave, because they don't pay you on medical leave, okay? Most jobs do not pay you when you have to take a medical leave of absence. And you're responsible to pay $600 or $700 a month for COBRA health insurance. Can you imagine that when you don't have income? Thank goodness I was financially savvy and had 6 months of savings. If not, I don't know what I would have done. But well, I also had an insurance plan, which we're gonna talk about that next week. I'm gonna get into stuff like that. But yeah, so that was it. So when I was sick, I was able to work Mary Kay from my bed. Literally, I was on mandated hospital bed rest. And when I was in the hospital, when I wasn't in the hospital, and I worked that business, and then I used the profits from my Mary Kay business to launch my consulting company, which I launched in 2012. And I started Mary Kay in 2011. I didn't say that. And so, and it's just been uphill since then. And some of the other businesses I'm a part of, FES, Melaleuca, and I feel like I'm forgetting something. I wear so many hats. I do a little coaching. Oh, of course, I'm a Reiki practitioner. So that's another business that I run. And that's my newest endeavor. And then also coaching. Like I'm a pageant coach. I coach other girls to win because all of my clients win their pageants. Okay, I have a 100% track record right now. and then, of course, a regular coach. So like a business coach, a life coach, a break and belief barrier coach, which we'll talk about. So that was a long answer, but I think it's good for you all to know a little history about me for my newcomers. And so, okay, I'm ready for the next question. I know we had another question up there. When should a child begin to prepare for college? Oh, great question, Alicia. Thank you for watching from YouTube. It's never too early. It's never too early. So I get this question a lot. And sometimes I just share it because it's important to know that the preparation starts early on, right? The preparation starts when you are looking at your child and trying to figure out or seeing what they're gifted at. Like, what do they do naturally? What are they good at? So you can kind of get an idea of, not necessarily what to make them do, but, what might be some options for them or what you might want to invest some money in to hone that skill for them. An example, if you see that your child is great at drawing, like way better than they're supposed to be, right, at a young age, then maybe you investigate in some drawing things. I noticed that for my nephew. And so, for Christmas, he got a whole bunch of supplies and things so that he can do more and develop the talent, that skill. And as he gets older, we'll probably put him in an art class or something, right? An extra art class outside of whatever you're doing at school. Me personally, with my Inez K Jones consulting business, which is the website scrolling across the screen at the bottom, and you can visit the website to find out about how to become a client and prices and all that jazz. But we start as early as 7th grade, and so people are always shocked when I say that. But I made a conscious decision on when is the best time to really prepare, and I believe that it's 7th grade. Why? Because 7th and 8th grade are really important grades because they determine what high school the child can go to, right? And what high school the child can go to determines what college the kid can go to. And so it is important. And it also is important that they have a plan going into high school. And if they are a part of a 7th and 8th grade program that's in conjunction with the high school, like we used to call it a preppy program, but like an academic center of sorts where they're actually going to be taking advanced courses or high school courses as a 7th and 8th grader, that means they're developing their GPA for their transcript for college or for high school that the colleges are going to look at in 8th grade. So if that's the case, we got to prepare them before that starts. So we got to make sure that they're tight. We got to make sure they got the tutors that they need. We got to make sure that they are being intentional, because a lot of times people aren't intentional about what it is that they're doing to make sure the child is well-rounded. Okay. And so it's not enough just to have good grades. It's just not enough. That's important, but it's just not enough. You have to see community service, and community service has to be a bare minimum of 100 hours over the course of your 4 years, right? They want to see extracurricular activities, and not just extracurricular activities that you're just a part of. They want to see that you're leading one, that you founded or started or created one for the students. And so that is a lot of what I kind of pull out of the students first and foremost to see what they're passionate about, what they want to do. And if it doesn't exist at their school, can we create it? So now that we're building their resume. So really at that age, you're starting to build their resume. And so it is exciting. They can start to write their personal statement, and there's programs that they can apply for that can help advance them and that will look good on their transcript, right? That they can take at a younger age, like science camps or math camps, computer camps. It's all kinds of stuff out there. Okay. Just type it in Google. And so it is never really too early, honestly. And you can start doing advanced learning and education with them sooner. So even if you aren't homeschooling, you still can challenge them at home and give them more homework for the next level to keep them above where everyone else is. And if you are homeschooling, then you have full control over the curriculum. And we did another live about homeschooling. So check that out on my YouTube channel if you missed it, because that one was really good too, and e-learning. But it's never too early. It's never too early. Okay, so I see we had another question. We can put that up. How essential is a college education in today's world? Ooh, okay. He wanted to get deep. All right. So I have been thinking about this question, quite honestly, because I asked myself, I said, well, Inez, everything that you do now, did you actually need a college degree to do it? Yes and no. So the thing is, people like to know that you're qualified, right? Which is why I gave you some of my credentials when we first started, right? So they like to know that, oh, she's kind of smart. She went to the University of Chicago, one of the toughest schools in the nation, and graduated with honors. The Masters of Education, is good as well, right? And in Spanish, it helps to be bilingual. So on one hand, yes, I do think that people pay attention to that, especially in the United States. I do also believe that you are really thinking about what you're going to do next. Like, I always want to encourage people to think about the end goal in mind. Like, what's the end goal, right? Is the end goal to be an entrepreneur? Do you need an MBA to do that for the kind of business you want to run? Or do you need some kind of specialty license, right? So it really matters what the end goal is, I do believe, on whether or not it makes the most sense to have the degree or not. Do I believe college is for everyone? No. I don't. I think some students actually would do better to do a trade school. Some students might do better to go to the Army and serve. Some students might do better to do a community college first, get their bearings, get the better grades, especially if they messed up in high school. Community college is the way to go. And then transfer into a four-year institution where they can get a bachelor's and they might start as a junior, okay? Or they can have the associate's degree and then also get the bachelor's degree. And then if they want, go on to a master's, PhD, etc. But if you're going into a specific field, some of them require degrees. So it really does matter on what the child wants to do. And honestly, I feel like college is a place where you kind of figure that out. You sort of get to know in high school, but you don't really know. You don't really know. And sometimes people go to college for things they never end up doing. I was pre-law at the University of Chicago, took the LSAT, got into law school and everything. I'm not a lawyer now. I still have all that knowledge, right? And it comes in handy when I have to do contracts for my business or things. But it was a whole different, I took a whole 180 from what I thought I was going to do. And so I think it depends. I think it depends on what the goal is. And honestly, in places like China, like, they're grooming the students to either, be in the specialty field, right? From a young age, like, they decide what they're going to do, where they're going to be, and they're going in on that subject right away. And or a lot of other countries, not just China, like, they groom their students to take over the family business, right? They create generational wealth. They're grooming them not to be somebody's employee, but to be somebody's boss at the end of the day. So it just depends on your mindset, on what it is that you want to convey and invest in your child, and make sure that you let them know that they have options, they have choices, and nothing is permanent. But they also don't want to waste money, because college is not cheap. Okay, college is not cheap, and it's a big investment to pay to go to then, mess up or not use it, etc. All right, I see we got another question coming in here. All right, y'all keep the questions coming. We got a whole hour here. How do you think the new generation looks at education due to the heavy social media flow today? Hello, Mr. Style Guru. Okay, how do you think the new generation looks at education due to the heavy social media flow today? Well, I think two things. I think this generation is probably the most open to entrepreneurship of any generation. I think that they understand from a young age that they can be an entrepreneur. And in comparison to, like, my day growing up, it was like, yeah, you go to school, you go to college, and if you really want to make some money, you become a doctor or a lawyer. That was it. Like, that was the option. And if you didn't do that, you failed in life, right? And so I don't think that was necessarily the right philosophy. However, it's probably what our parents grew up on and what they knew. And so in this day and age, because of social media, you see all the success stories, you see all the entrepreneurs, you see the people who decided not to listen to the norm. Because quite honestly, even when I went ahead and made the decision not to go back to CPS after I was well, I got a lot of pushback from the person, from people in my family, from the person I was dating at the time. Like, people were like, "Oh no, you need a 9 to 5. You need a 9 to 5." I was like, "But why? But why? Like, if I'm making more money over here, why do I need a 9 to 5? Who says I have to be at a 9 to 5?" And so, like, I went against the norm. And thank goodness I did, because I love my life right now. I love the fact that I don't have to report to anyone. And so I think this generation is more like that. They're ready to push the norms. They're ready to not have to be the norm. They are very entitled, and they are very social media savvy and heavy. And so I mean, honestly, they have opportunities that we didn't really have. Like, they can get famous off of YouTube. They can legitimately be a millionaire, or at least make some 6 figures from YouTube. If they have enough subscribers and followers, they can make money from people paying them to be sponsors and ads and things for different it could be clothes, it could be whatever, just for talking about it once they get to a certain level in social media. So they legit can have everything they need and more from social media right now. And that wasn't even heard of when we were coming up. Like, YouTube had just started. I was one of the first members, I believe, of Facebook. And in fact, I didn't even join when it first started, because if you all remember, Facebook offered it only to Ivy League schools, and University of Chicago was one of them. And it was a whole big thing. Everybody's going crazy over it. And I was like, I ain't doing that. Why would I want people to know where I am all the time, what I'm doing? That seems stupid to me. But finally, I went ahead and joined it. and then, they had it for a little while. I guess that was a test pilot, and then they opened it up to the world, and, it's history since. But all of this was new. And so, and I don't even think Instagram existed. So it wasn't an opportunity. So they have different opportunities to be able to do things that don't require a college education. Even honestly, making videos. They're learning how to do that now. They're learning how to cut, edit, and clip. And people have gone to school for years for things of that nature. So it literally is different. And so I do think that if, my best recommendation for parents would be to make sure your kids have a practical option. Like, sign them up, line them up for plan A, B, and C. Right? Okay. Yeah, they want to be an Instagram famous. Okay, that's plan. They want them to be plan A, fine. What's plan B? Mm-hmm. And then what's plan C? Is plan B the college education? Is plan C your own business separate from the Instagram social media fame? Like, you just bring them to reality and make sure they have options and they have a plan for each one. Because there's nothing that says they can't pursue things simultaneously. And so, okay, I see we got another question. Let's pop that up. What do you think about the philosophy, everyone can't be an entrepreneur, someone needs to work? Thank you, Tiffany Washington, and hit her up if you need any realtor needs. She's licensed in Illinois and Florida. And so what do you think about the philosophy, everyone can't be an entrepreneur, somebody needs to work? Well, that is true. Some people just aren't built for entrepreneurship. And I did a different training that entrepreneurship is not for the faint of heart. It is not, because you have to be able to be okay with the ups and the downs, the highs and the lows. You don't have a guaranteed steady check until you create that right away. Sometimes you take a loss to start a business and to grow. And a lot of times, certain personality styles just can't handle that. Like, they can't handle not knowing exactly to the cents how much their check is going to be in 2 weeks. Some people can't plan for money that they don't physically see in their account first. When sometimes in entrepreneurship, you have to kind of plan for the contracts that are coming and things like that. It's just how it works. And so I do believe everyone has a gift and a purpose, and some people are great employees, and there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with being the best at what you do, whether it's an entrepreneur or an employee. There's nothing wrong with that. And quite honestly, every entrepreneur needs a tribe and a team. Okay. They need a tribe that's following and purchasing and buying, and they need a team that's helping to execute. Right now, my tech team is on it, right? Like, I have a team of people in place that help to make my brand grow, to help to make my businesses better. And she said, yes, entrepreneurship is not for the faint of heart. Listen, it's not. I'm trying to tell you, it is not for the weak. It is not. Like, you have to have grit. You have to be ready to, bounce back. You got to be ready to change with the times. You got to be able to work with different personality styles. People who are customers and people who are employees, you have to learn how to transfer your skills. And that's the thing that I think a lot of entrepreneurs struggle with. You have to be okay to talk to strangers. Some people call that prospecting. Some people call that warm chatting. Hello, beautiful. Thank you. You have to be able to roll with the punches, change with the times, and be okay that everything's not going to go perfectly. And it might not go the way you intended and planned, but that doesn't mean that it was a failure. You have to be able to improvise. You have to be able to get help, outsource for help, and you have to also change with the times, right? Some people had to revamp how they were doing their business completely during this pandemic, okay, and go completely virtual. Thankfully, I was a little ahead of the curve because I had already done that because my team for one of my businesses is all over. And we're like in 13 states. And so we're working on 50. So y'all reach out to me if you need extra stream of income, okay? But so I always kind of incorporated virtual because I wanted to include everyone, not just the people who were locally close to me and could come to my studio. And so I think that is a great question. All right. So the topics today are scholarships, businesses, and whatever else y'all got questions about. Okay. So it's an open Q&A. She said, grit, bounce back. You preaching tonight. Listen, don't get me on my soapbox. Like, it is something, but it's also beautiful, right? It's a beautiful thing, especially when it works and when it clicks and when it comes together and when you're able to do what you love and operate in your purpose and use your gifts to share them with the world. There's nothing like it. There's nothing like it. All right. What other questions do y'all have? What other questions do y'all have for me? Let me know. All right, let me think more about the scholarship. So the scholarship piece, a lot of times people only think to start applying for scholarships in your senior year. And that's a big mistake. There are actually a couple of scholarships that are available sophomore year of high school. And then there are quite a few more available junior year of high school. Now, again, you don't use them until college. And then senior year is when the most work has to be done. And this also when college applications are being done. And with my Inez K Jones Consulting, I also help with, college applications. And again, my team of editors, a team, right? It takes a team to be able to, service people. And we do individual clients. We also do churches. Sometimes will hire us to come and help a group of students. Schools will hire me to come and speak to the parents or work with a specific group of students and things of that nature. So there's lots of options, and y'all can check that out on the website. But back to what I was saying. So actually applying starts at about sophomore year. The preparation starts freshman year, right? So that you can get the things on your resume that you need, like the community service, like the leadership, like the grades, and getting a tutor if you need help. The ACT, the SAT, taking those early. The practice, and I think everything's really going to the SAT now. Hey, Pam, type any questions if you have them, honey. And so you got to know what it is that they're going to do so that they can be prepared to apply and win. Because it's not just about applying to apply, it's applying and winning. And then, and honestly, a lot of times by senior year, I rarely accept seniors because there's only so much I can do senior year. Like, I can't really help them get more stuff on their resume when the application is due in a month, right? I prefer to get them early because then I can help mold them and make sure that they're ready to go, and we can get them $1 million or so in scholarships. And so, of course, there's no guarantee, but I haven't had anybody that hasn't won anything, and so that's always a good thing. And with the senior year, it's just that you're all already also doing college applications, and a lot of times they're due at the same time, or the scholarships are due right before the college starts to be due. And so what I tell my students to do is you got to get a really, really, really good personal statement. Get a really good personal statement. Get a really good resume. And your student should have a 500-word personal statement, a 1,000-word personal statement, and then a 1-page, maybe 2 pages at most, resume. And then also you need a short bio that's about 500 words. Or you could even do 250 and a 500 bio. And so I'll come to that question in just a second. And so with your businesses, with the students and the scholarships, you want to make sure that you have have these things in place, because if they get really, really good ones, and then there's a couple of like generic questions that almost everything asks, right? And so they can have a couple of staple essays ready to go. So then it's a matter of copy and pasting. And so what I do with my clients is we work to do those, because, you know, I have a list of lots of questions that are usually asked. And since I've been doing so many applications, we sometimes have them, you know, I already got the questions. And so we can start writing those freshman year, sophomore year, junior year. So come the time to actually apply, all we're doing is editing what we already started. We're adding to whatever has been added on, making it a little bit better. We're just polishing it up. We're not having to write it from scratch. And we already got 4 bomb essays plus our personal statements that are ready to go. So now all they have to do is copy and paste come senior year for all of the stuff that's due. Letters of recommendation. These are extremely important, and you should get them from several people, and then you pick the best ones, right? You want to make sure you get a counselor, make sure you get like a math or a science teacher, make sure you get another teacher that you love, and then you have to get like something from your sports coach or your club sponsor, or your volunteer place. You should have one from, or your, you know, if you're part of a church or a religious affiliation, you want to have, you know, quite a few, and so that way you have letters that you can choose from when it comes time to submit, and you're not having to wait. The other thing I recommend is that you need to get your transcripts, your transcripts from the school. You need to get them every semester. You need to get quite a few copies of it. So you all official copies, which you do have to pay for usually, so that you always have it on hand. So if something comes across, or you see a post online and somebody has a scholarship for $10,000, all you got to do is put your paper together, copy and paste your essays, boop, submit. All right. And you're ready to go. And so it's just being prepared sooner. And so, okay, I saw a couple more questions. I'm ready for another one now. She said, hey, sorry. Oh, no worries, Yolanda. Type your questions below. We're talking about scholarships and businesses or whatever else y'all got questions about. My question is, what are the pros and cons of SBA loans for a small business? Okay, Pam, we're actually going to talk a little bit more about this on my live next week. And so make sure to tune in for that. We're going to show the flyer in a little while. And I got someone who actually delves in that world and has an MBA who'll talk more about it. But I think it just depends on the fine print. I think with any loan, it depends on the fine print. Like, how long do you have to pay it back? What's the interest rate, right? And then what's your plan for your payback? So just like you would treat a credit card, if you put your business on a credit card, what's your plan for paying it back? You're not going to just pay the minimums. You got to pay more than the minimums, right? To keep your credit up. So same thing with the loan. You want to be able to do that. And is it deferrable? And so I think it just depends on the specifics and what you need, because it costs money to make money. Let's be clear. It costs money to make money. Sometimes you got to, go in a hole a little bit before you come out. And it is what it is. And some people are able to work their regular job and do the business. And some people keep that until the money matches with the regular job and the business, and then they leave. But most times it doesn't happen like that. Most times you either have set aside some savings and then you go ahead and take the leap, or you just take the leap, right? Or life happens and kind of forces you into the leap, which is what happened with me. Other times you have to, maybe use the profits from one thing to finance the other, which is what I did, which is why I didn't have to take out any loans for my scholarship business, because I basically funded that business from the profits of my Mary Kay business. Thank you, Mary Kay. And it worked out that way. And so she said, girl, you dropping diamonds. Oh, thank you. I hope y'all enjoy it. And for those who end up watching later, please put #replay. And so, so it really just depends on it. Anytime you can avoid going into debt, you want to avoid it, clearly. But there's also different kinds of debt, right? There's good debt, there's bad debt. And so if taking out that loan is going to help you to be able to start manufacturing your product, or put inventory on your shelf, or hire a marketing agent, or build your website the way you really want it, right? Or create an online platform, or like something like really big that you can also project that will also make you money, then it's worth it. So you just kind of got to weigh the pros and cons and write it out. And then sometimes it's just praying on it and taking the leap. And so did we have another question come up? I think we might have. Okay. How important is the parent's role in the scholarship process? Oof. Okay. Extremely important. All right. Let me talk to the parents for a second here, y'all. All right, there's different kinds of parents. All right. Now, there's what's called the helicopter parent, and that's the one that's doing just too much. All right, you're overbearing, you're just doing the most, you're doing everything for the child, you're not creating independence, you're not teaching the child responsibility if you're doing everything for them, or if you're hounding the person that you're paying, like me, to help them, okay? Or if you're making excuses for them if they're not doing what they're supposed to do, because excuses are tools of incompetence, okay? So we don't do those over here. But when so that's the number one, and they mean well, but it really is hurting the child in the long run. Okay, so let me just start off with that. Now, then on the other hand, you got the parents that aren't caring at all. They so hands off, you would not even know they existed, right? The child is basically running themselves and their siblings, and so that's not the best approach either, right? You really do need a happy medium. You need to be able to first of all, you should know all the deadlines. All right. You should have it up on your refrigerator, like and somewhere else in the bathroom, in front of the kids' face. So like, that they can see it every day what the deadlines are, when they're coming up, what they're supposed to do. And for me, they're supposed to turn stuff into me 4 weeks ahead of time of whatever the deadline is. And so they have a deadline for me to turn it in, for my team to work on and edit it and do that magic or whatever. And then they have a deadline for the actual, clicking the button and submitting. And so, and then there's different components of what you need. All right. Some scholarships require 2 essays. Gates requires like 8. Jackie requires 4. Most require anywhere between 2 or 4 essays. And one of those is usually always the personal statement. And so, so if you're not good with writing and editing, that's okay, and if you're hiring a coach or somebody to help you with that, then that's what you're paying them for. So you don't have to worry about that piece of it, but you do need to make sure that they're getting what they're supposed to get to the person on time. And if it's supposed to be 1,000 words and it's only a paragraph on the page, that doesn't suffice, right? And you can see that. They're like, oh, this is not enough. You need to write more. And so that means you might have to turn off the TV or take away the phone or something, so they sit down and focus. And well, they got to type on a computer. So put some restrictions on it. If you have a child that doesn't have that kind of responsibility, self-discipline is really what it is. And remember that that's what you're creating. You're helping them to create discipline. You're helping them to be responsible. You're molding young adults. And these are skills that they're going to need for the rest of their life. They're going to have deadlines at work. They're going to have deadlines in college. And so it's like, you want to help them to grow in that way, but you can't let it get to the point where they miss the deadline. So you have to be on top of it where, if it's coming up on the time they're supposed to submit it to me, you're like, did you get that time, Inez? But don't worry, my team will let you know if they don't have it. But also, and then when the deadline comes, making sure that they actually submitted it and that it's in, because to do all that work or to pay somebody to help you with it and you ain't submitted it, well, that's a waste of money right there. And so, so that's what I would say. A happy medium is what's best, and to be on top of it, to ask questions, but most importantly, to make sure that they're following through with the plan that we created for them or that you create for them from the beginning of high school, when they're going into high school. Of what they're going to do, what teams they're going to be a part of. Because you can look it up online what the high school offers, and they kind of usually have an idea of what they want to get involved with. That might change when they get to school, but still, they go in with a plan. Like I went into Kenwood Academy High School, shout out Broncos, with a plan, and I was the only one that freshman year applied for scholarships, and because of that, I won the full tuition to the University of Chicago because I was the only one freshman year who even applied for the doggone thing. I went in with the plan, and that was just, me and my mama who had a plan. And honestly, I just knew she couldn't afford college, and I knew that I had to get scholarship money to do it. And so I was focused. I was on a mission. Okay, I see another question. Let's go. How you may have answered this already, but do you have resources for those who don't have good credit and need a loan for businesses? Well, my first resource would be the other business that I have, which is called FES. And what it is it's a financial literacy and credit repair company. And so I can send anyone who wants more information about that can send me an inbox message, and I will link you with my team for that, and we can get you going on that, because you do want to repair the credit, right? Because your personal credit and your business credit, you want to have them to be good. So at least start working on that. And it's a great company, a great way to do it. And if you want to also make money with it, you can. but you could just be a customer and benefit from the many benefits of being a part of the company. So that would be the first thing. In the meantime, I had said earlier that I used the profits from my one business to launch others. So I used the profits from my Mary Kay business to launch my consulting company. And so I basically self-funded. You also can use credit cards. Like if you got some credit cards, then, you can't maybe get a loan. A lot of times you can't get a big loan, but you maybe could get a credit card. And if you can't get a regular credit card, then you want to get what's called a secured credit card. And I can link y'all with my cousin who's a manager with PNC Bank, and she can help you all out with different business loans and business services and cards and credit cards and secured cards and all that jazz. So I'll drop her information in the comments afterwards. But that would be another thing I would suggest to do so that you can build it, because and then maybe you will qualify for something. The next thing I would say is, can you qualify for a grant? Right? Have you looked up grants? And if you don't know about writing grants, then get a grant writer. They exist. I know a few that I can link folks with. And so, because grants really do help. Grants help you to, not have to pay it back, right? And they help you give the boost that you need for your business, to hire the help that you need. But quite honestly, like when times are rough for me, I bartered. You hear me, Yolanda? I bartered services, okay? Like I have always believed in help before I could afford help. I was paying for help, either in product or in trading of services. I'll never forget, I had a hairstylist. I helped her kill with scholarship money. She did my hair on a regular. Like it was the best setup ever. Okay, I have bartered services whenever I need. Alicia says she is not lying. She has woke me up many mornings at 4 a.m. to do work. She would work so hard and fall asleep just as hard. Inez, you're truly phenomenal. I love you, my friend. She's known me, 20 years or more? Oh my gosh, I don't even feel that old. But yes. And so, and that's what I was talking about earlier. Like, you got to be willing to do the work. You got to be willing to get up at the crack of dawn. And sometimes you don't go to sleep till midnight. So like, it's a different kind of hustle. It's a different kind of grind. And it's almost like you work hard now so that you can play hard later, right? You put in the umph, and then you get it in place where the business, because the goal of a business is for it to run without you. The goal of the business is for, if you, God forbid, left or passed, the business can still go on without you. So that's when you really arrived, right? If you decided you don't want to do it anymore, you wanted to sell it to someone, they want to buy it because you got a clientele set up, you have systems in place. Systems are so important in businesses. And so you have to think about, how you're setting that up strategically, how you're outsourcing, and how you're making it so that it can run without you. And a lot of times that has to do with transferring your skill. You have to be able to transfer your skills. So I had to be able to teach my editors to edit like I edit, because what I found is one good thing about branding myself is that everybody knows me. But the bad part about that is that everybody wants me. They don't want anybody else that I'm trained to do it. They want me. I'm like, oh, it's only so much of me I can give. And it also limits you. If you're the only person that, can do anything for your business, then you can't really grow. At some point, you'll reach your cap. And so, so I started doing my business virtually way before the virtual world was even a thing, because I realized that I could only see so many people in person, and I didn't enjoy traveling to folks, and I didn't really want everybody in my house. And so I decided I was going to do it via FaceTime, Skype. Y'all remember Skype? Or I don't even remember what the third one was, but I think those are my only options. And that's how we did it. And that opened me up to now have clients in different states. And so I had clients all over, because now I can do it anytime from anywhere. And I loved it. And so I kept that. And now my next phase is I'm building out a class that people can take, where you can be able to hear from me and get all the tips. A lot of times I end up repeating myself, saying the same thing. And so you can have recordings and things that you can go back to, and it can be a little more affordable for folks. And I can reach more people, right? So it's all about growing. It's all about that next level. It's all about stretching your mindset and really doubling your efforts, but without harming your quality, right? Because it's one thing if you have a whole bunch of people, but if your quality suffers, then you're not going to get good reviews. People aren't going to come back. And really, my consulting business, especially, it was all word of mouth. It was all referrals. like literally like referrals. And thank goodness I learned how to get referrals and make sure that I ask people to give referrals for Mary Kay. And so I learned the skills of one business and I used it and applied it to another business. I learned how to make sure that when I'm out and about, I talked about my scholarship business and I had my cart ready to go. When I'm in the grocery store, I'm just running my errands. And so I've never paid for marketing for that business. And I legit got a wait list. And so I'm blessed for that. I'm grateful for that. But it's also because I offer a quality service. And so not only do people come back, people tell other people about me, like, oh, you want to get on her schedule and you better hurry up. and so I'm grateful for that. And I enjoy it. But I say that to say that that's the same thing that you want to do with your business, right? You want to be the best, like in your field. You want to label yourself and brand yourself as the best of the best, and as someone who really loves on your customers and your people, and do they feel appreciated, and what do they say when you're not around, and are they referring you to others? And so that really is an important piece of working a business. And I see we had another comment here. She said, awesome. I'm meeting people that need to rebuild. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. And I will send you that information, Yolanda, too, because a lot of times rebuilding the credit is a big deal. And a lot of people need it. And it's a sensitive topic. A lot of times people don't want to, tell the world, but it is what it is, and we live, we learn, we make mistakes when we're young and dumb. And then you got to fix it when you get older. And so I really do appreciate it. Any more questions? If y'all have any more questions, we got a few more minutes here. And so while we're waiting on a couple of questions to come in, I think we can go ahead and share our upcoming events with you all. We can share some of our upcoming events. And so for my makeup folks, we got our Makeup Mondays. And I got the beautiful Moani Bay, my baby sister, is coming back to show y'all all about the brushes. And can you believe it? I can't even believe she's grown and I used to change her diapers, but she is better at makeup than me, y'all. And she is going to go through the different brushes in our Mary Kay line and different looks that you can do with them. And also throughout the month, every Monday, at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time on my independent sales director page. So it's at Inez K Jones MK if you're watching on Facebook, and it's on my YouTube channel if you are watching on YouTube at Inez K Jones. We'll also be doing highlighting and contouring. And on this past Monday, we did a glam look. So go ahead and watch the replay. If you missed it, you can watch it on Facebook or YouTube. And then we always have our beautiful business events, which October 3rd one is on my YouTube channel if you want to watch the replay for that, where we go in depth a little bit more about the Mary Kay opportunity. And then we got another one coming up in November. So we'll go to our next slides here. And it's okay if they're not in order. We could just go. And so this one is what I had been referencing. And so, okay, that's all right. We'll go ahead with the Mary Kay one. So the November 7th event is the next beautiful business. So just save the date for that one. It's a Saturday, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. Me and my co-host D and a bunch of powerhouse directors in the business are going to share their stories with you. And so for consultants, go ahead and share it and invite guests. And if you're a guest, please be my guest if you are my customer, friend, or associate. And we can go back to the other one. And next Thursday, y'all know we get it in for our Thursday thing. Ooh, okay, I'm excited about this one, y'all. So we are going to continue the conversation about getting your nest in order. Y'all know if you don't know what I'm talking about, you need to go to my YouTube channel and go back to the beginning and watch some of my lives where it was just me. And you'll see the title. It says we did, get your nest in order. We did get your financial nest in order. We did, flying out of the nest, bird's nest. I did a lot because my life started all around kind of the bird's nest. And so it's a great story and great training as well. But I got some powerhouses. So we have the attorney, Miss Noemi Robinson, Esquire. Also, my baby pledge daughter, Esquire, Miss Sahara Bell. And then we got the phenomenal Matthew King, who also has an MBA. And we're going to be talking to you all about the things I've been preaching about, but I'm going to bring y'all some professionals to really give it in and talk about it. And so this is adulting, okay? So adults, let's adult. Tag a friend, tell somebody that they need to be on here and get this stuff in order. And so we'll be talking about wills. We'll be talking about trust. We'll be talking about insurances. We'll be talking about power of attorney. We'll be talking about guardianship. We'll be talking about prenuptial agreements. Okay. We'll be talking about taxes for your business and whether to do an LLC or another type of formation, meaning INC or independent contractor or independent proprietor. I got some questions about that on one of my, the very first time I went live with my Q&A. And so I wanted to dive deeper into this subject because I think it's such an important one to have your documents in order. And so I say, get your nest in order because we all need to do this. It doesn't matter your age. Like you don't know what tomorrow holds. And it's the responsible thing for you to do to be prepared. Right. And so that your family is not rushing and having to do a GoFundMe for your funeral. Like, come on, that's not cute or professional. So we want you to, no judgments. If that's what you had to do, that's what you had to do. I get it. But let's be better. Let's prepare better. Let's prepare the next generation to be better and to be ready for whatever life might throw at you. And there's so many different kinds of insurances. There's insurances for your business. There's insurance for if you get sick. And I kind of alluded to that earlier. Like when I was out, thank goodness that I had 6 months savings, but I was sick for longer than 6 months. But I also had the smartness to hire a financial planner. And he told me that I should get this thing where if you got sick and were off work, it would pay you. Thank goodness I got that insurance and they were taking it out of my check and paying for it on a regular. And so that came in handy to pay me. And so there's things that you can do. There's life insurances that you can take advantage of now. There's insurances that you can take advantage of later. There's insurances that you can get for your children that they can benefit from when they turn 18, right? And so there's all kinds of things. And with the policies, you know, if you're paying into them and you keep them on time, if life happens, you always can take it down and then restart if you have to. It's not recommended, but at least it's there. It's not like you're throwing away money. And so anyway, I'm excited about this conversation and we're going to get it in. And that's our Thursday thing at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Every Thursday we get it in on different topics. And so this will be next week. And then the week after I will be singing for y'all. Y'all know I always sing on 4th Thursdays. Music is my heart and I enjoy it. And I always bring out phenomenal guests to sing with me. So make sure you save the date for that because we're going to be getting it in on our music tip. And we shared about that one. And then last but not least is breaking belief barriers. If you're not a part of my group, listen, join. And that's the Facebook group information right at the bottom, facebook.com/groups, breaking belief barriers. And so in here, I really go in a little more depth. I give tips and trainings every day, right? Every day you get some kind of tip, training, quote, or inspiration from me. And then also I do live trainings or video recordings sometimes on Fridays, okay? And so that you get a little bit more. And I want to help people to break through the belief barriers that are holding them back. She says, thank you so much. You are a wealth of educational wisdom. Yes, I will put these events on my calendar. Oh, thank you so much, Pam. Thank you for that compliment. And yes, like I'm very passionate and I'm very clear on my mission and my purpose. And one of them is to help people to break through the limiting beliefs that are keeping them from their greatness, from keeping them from starting that business or from growing that business or just from being their best self. Right. And so it's for men and women, it's for entrepreneurs and non-entrepreneurs, it's for everyone. And I'm so excited because we grew to like 200 members in 5 weeks. And so now, you know me, I want 2,000. Continue to grow. And it's good. So I share the different topics that people requested. I did a technology training in there. I did some tips for business people and I'm making a decision. So a lot of different trainings and a lot of different phenomenal people. So again, I said before, you got to be a part of a tribe, right? And you want to be a part of a tribe. And so what tribes are you a part of? And you can be a part of more than one, but this is a tribe and I call them my believers because that's what we are. And so we'd love for you to join us as well. And that's a Facebook group that you can join. And so I think that's all of the flyers that we had to show you. But do we have any more questions or comments that popped up on the screen? Okay, she said, are there scholarships for second-year college students? Oh, Dr. McGee. Okay, so there used to be, well, 2 things. Okay. Basically, scholarships go from sophomore year of high school to freshman year of college. Like that's where you're going to find the most. However, and I will venture to say sophomore year of college too, but they dwindle down significantly after senior year. Okay. Like what's available, the options and things. What I recommend for parents to do who have college students who maybe didn't, do as much or get as much money as they needed for school is after they developed a GPA, that first semester of college, you start applying for things that are, in the world to apply for scholarships. You just type it in Google. And then, of course, after freshman year, if they're a sophomore now, like I think maybe your child might be, the best bet is to go to the school counselor or financial aid office and ask them what scholarships are there that they can apply for. Because what I find is sometimes there's like an alumni of something or someone who's donated something specific just to the college, just to that school, for students who meet a certain criteria after they have had a full year in college. And so usually that's going to be based on the child's school. You could Google to see if there's any ones out there outside of that. There are a few, and I can't remember the name of the one, but I remember I helped a friend back in college get one, and I think it was worth like 10 grand. In fact, he sent me the name of that too. I'll look it up and type it in the comments, and send it to you directly, Dr. McGee. But yeah, so there are, but I think that one was specifically for engineers. And so it just makes a difference. It depends on your field. It depends on what's available and what's funded. But the best thing to do is to ask the school counselor. Your child needs to be friends with somebody in the financial aid office. You for college, and for high school, you and your child need to make friends with a guidance counselor, okay? Because those are the ones you need when it comes to scholarships in colleges. They're the ones that get the emails. They're the ones that have the firsthand knowledge. Like, you need to get in good with somebody in that financial aid system. And another thing is, if it is a lot of times people don't realize they can do this. So if something has happened in your life and you've had a hardship or a loss in pay, which a lot of people have had right now, right? Or a change in, the working environment or your income, etc., you can do a financial aid appeal while the student is in college with the financial aid office. And when you do that, then they reevaluate your FAFSA, and that's important that you do the FAFSA on time, whatever the deadline is. They changed, I think it's like in October or something now, but make sure you do that. Make sure you fill out accurately, and honestly, make sure you got a good tax accountant so you can get that sucker down to as minimum as possible for what you put on there, okay? And if you have more than one student in college at the same time, that helps actually, so you don't have to pay out as much. But remember, they're looking at the year prior. So you have to be prepared as the parent. You have to be thinking about this junior year of high school, right? When you're doing your taxes their junior year, because that's what's going to be looked at when you're first file for the FAFSA. And then after they're accepted, you're going to have to submit again, right? And so, a lot of times if you can qualify for the Pell Grant, that's really good, because that means you basically qualify for all the scholarships that are financial aid based. But there are some scholarships for even people who do make six figures. I've helped students whose parents make six figures to get scholarship money. And so those are more academic based, athletic based scholarships. Oh, because there's athletic scholarships too, of course. And then there's music scholarships. There's all kinds of scholarships. There's pageant scholarships. The pageant world, they win scholarships, so there's a lot of different scholarships that you can get, but definitely make friends with somebody in that financial aid office. And if you need to do a financial aid appeal, then you have the right to do that. And you just have to submit the request in writing. And I helped my niece to do that recently, actually, with her school. And then we worked on her stuff to get her a scholarship. Now ROTC is something that you can only get sophomore year of college on, but they pay full tuition. But the kid has to pass all of the drills and fitness and things, but that's an option. And that's what my niece, that's the route she went. So they just had to figure out freshman year. We did an appeal and, got her whatever scholarships we could. And then she applied for that one and did the work and got that so that she can, now not have to pay for school. And that was actually the daughter of my stepsister who had passed away from breast cancer. And so, of course I had a extra duty to make sure I helped her with this part of the journey. And so I can't believe an hour went by already. It flies by. And, when I do these live Q&As, you never know how it's going to go, but I actually work pretty well on the fly. So I appreciate those who came on, who commented, because you make the show. You make the show when you comment and ask the questions. You guide the conversation. And so I don't take that lightly. Thank you for spending an hour of your time with me. Thank you for being here. Thank you for asking questions and trusting me to give you the answers, right? Because you don't have to necessarily do that. And so I appreciate that, and I don't take it lightly. And I hope that you all do the next step and share the live. Share the live. Someone needs to hear this. Someone has a kid in college or about to go to high school, and they need to start preparing for these things. Someone is struggling a little bit with thinking about different things for a business that might need to hear something that I said in this video. And so I always believe that whatever comes out is what was meant to be shared, because someone on the other side of the world needed to hear it. And so I appreciate you all. I thank you so much. And I hope you have a fantastic evening. Do me a favor. If you're not following me, follow me on all social media at Inez K. Jones, especially YouTube and Instagram. Facebook is like my main. I got like thousands and thousands of friends and followers on Facebook, but I got to get these other platforms up. And Twitter, I'm on there too. I'm on everything at Inez K. Jones. And so I appreciate you taking the time and for the follow and tag a friend. And thank you for tuning in for our Thursday thing. Every Thursday, you tune in with me at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, and we get it in on the topics, okay? I'm not scared of anything. We talk about it all. And so get ready for next week. We're going to talk about getting your nest in order. It's going to be a very good educational conversation. Bring your questions ready, and so that we can have that happen. And then I'm going to sing for y'all after that. And of course, you can tune in for my Makeup Mondays, any Monday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time at my YouTube channel. And y'all listen to my song Secret Place on the way out, which I actually am going to put available sometime soon here for y'all to be able to purchase on iTunes. I've gotten a few requests. And so thank you. I love you. My loyal faithfuls, have a fantastic evening.
I'm so confused. And